Sunbelt transfer portal winners. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right. Happy Thursday. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy Hanukkah to those of us who do celebrate. Today's episode brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. All right, we will go over the transfer portal winners. Marshall is moving on, and they have a lot to move on from. And Texas State doing a good job of rebuilding heading into year 3 of G.J. Kinne, although it does appear they are moving on to quarterback number 3. But it continues even on Christmas Day. Was going to do this podcast about an hour ago, which would have been about 6 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. It feels that way being a holiday, and 2 straight days off, actually, which doesn't happen very often. But on a Wednesday, and Southern Miss was getting more commits on a Wednesday on Christmas. And they continue to clean up mostly from Marshall. So obviously Southern Miss with Charles Huff has got to be the big winner in the transfer portal. They get one of the top corners in the portal, as it turns out, also from Southern Miss. They get Josh Moten, originally from Texas A&M. Scott Watkins, our buddy from the Sun Herald, writes, the Maryland native, coming off a season which he posted 10 pass deflections, 5 interceptions, and an impressive 90.6 Pro Football Focus grade. And so he officially joins Southern Miss on Christmas. They also added defensive tackle Isaiah Gibson, 320 pounds in the middle of the defensive line. Is going to go a long way into stopping the run. He started at Kentucky before going to Marshall, and although he did not play this past year. And they also did get a big-time wide receiver. Carl Chester will be the first Southern Miss player to officially take advantage of this new junior college eligibility waiver granted by the NCAA, which was a Monday or Tuesday. Chester gets a 5th year and will be using it in Hattiesburg. He started at Tulsa, and now he's going to Marshall. It is not the easiest thing in the world to keep up with how many players. You really do have to keep up with the local beat writers, because if you do it on the national guys, 24/7 or on 3, they're really just concerned with the national teams, the Alabamas and the Michigans and the Ohio States and the LSUs. And so it is difficult to find it all in one place. So let's see what we got from, let's see if this works, if I got to subscribe or not. Let's see. Let's count. And Scott did update it 5:35 on Christmas night. Okay. Started on the 9th when the portal opened up. So he's got Josh Moten, Isaiah Gibson, and Carl Chester. That's 3. 4, 5, 6. We'll talk about the names here in a second. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 total. Some of these names on here twice. That's the only thing. Let me see here. So Mike Montgomery, no. Chuck Montgomery. So two different Montgomerys. Okay. So we talked about the 3 guys that committed on Christmas Day. They also have Mike Montgomery out of Portland State, linebacker Broderick Rallman out of Eastern Michigan, and they got the Mississippi State running back Jeffrey Pittman. Oddly enough, Fluff Bothwell, who did I say that he had committed? Did I know that? Was it for sure? Because it ended up on my podcast. I admittedly got it off 24/7. I didn't know anything more than anybody else did, but it didn't seem to get reported until Christmas Eve that he was 100%. Maybe it got on 24/7. I don't know, but I put on my podcast, would have been 8 o'clock Tuesday morning. Anyways, so he's going to Mississippi State. So Jeffrey Pittman, the running back, is going to Southern Miss. They got offensive lineman Cooper Frazier from Samford, Christian Anderson, offensive lineman from Alabama A&M, Corey Myrick, the safety from Marshall, cornerback Ian Foster from Marshall, Aheem Foster, cornerback from Marshall, Elijah Metcalf from Marshall, wide receiver, Alec Clark from Marshall, the punter, Chuck Montgomery, wide receiver from Marshall, Ishmael Ibrahim from Marshall, cornerback, Jabari Ishmael from Marshall, defensive lineman, Tyshawn Chapman, wide receiver from Marshall, Dominic Hill, Liberty, Temple in South Carolina, all right, cornerback, Braylon Braxton, the quarterback, going from Marshall to Southern Miss, and the defensive lineman, J.J. Hawkins from Marshall, and Braylon Brown from Marshall is all going to Southern Miss. So what did I say? 21 guys. Let's see who's out. It seems to be more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. All right. Having said that, Scott does say the ones that were in bold were in the 2 deep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 were in the 2 deep. So 12 out and 21 in. So obviously Southern Miss is winning in a big way. And now we'll see if they can recruit some. You got to get some high school kids in. And you got to get some guys that are coming in. I mean, Braylon Braxton only has, let me see if Scott says it. Braylon Braxton only has the 1 year left, right? I think. I could be wrong. Let me see what he says. I thought it was only the one year left. Maybe he's got 2. He'll have 1 more season of eligibility remaining. So I was correct. Okay. So you got to have somebody ready to go. Now, you could play that transfer portal ball game, lottery, right? That you're going to be lucky. Now, this is a little bit different than having, it's the same coach, same quarterback, although different offense, right? You got Blake Anderson, the former Arkansas State head coach, the former Utah State head coach coming back, which is a little bit interesting on how all that's working out. So the offense is going to be tweaked a little bit. All right. And obviously, because they transferred in now, they're going to have plenty of time to get used to it in the spring. But somewhere along the way, you'd like to have, again, the Jalen Rayners and the Gio Lopez's are going to be few and far between, right? We'll see if those guys are there for 4 years. They're there for 3, right? Gio Lopez is entering his 3rd year with South Alabama. Jalen Rayner entering his 3rd year with Arkansas State. They are going to be relics. They both could be there for 4 years. They really could be. We'll see if they get paid. Gio Lopez was thinking about going in the portal, but we'll see. If he has the kind of year, I mean, he had a great year to begin with, but if he has the kind of year everyone's expecting to, we'll see if he can, if he does transfer out, or if he sticks around. We'll see what happens. All right, so Southern Miss is cleaning up, obviously a big deal, but Marshall is moving on, and they are doing okay with some guys coming in from the portal, more so than I had first thought. So we will do that and talk about Marshall. They may be on both of these lists. They may be on the winners and the losers, because obviously they have lost at least a dozen players, if not more. And we will talk about that next, right after I tell you about FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up the W. I love betting on which players will score a touchdown and how many points each team will score. It's thrilling. I went to a movie on Christmas. I set the line at 5 previews. Was 7. I did take the over, but I lost on 3 Marvels. There was only one, Captain America. I'm not sure if FanDuel has that. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance. $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. This may be a little bit more difficult because I'm not sure that Marshall's got a beat writer yet because our guy has moved on and has taken another job. Luke has moved on and has gone to work for the highway department. But Marshall is getting some guys in. Okay, so if I go to On 3, one of them has it. Well, hold on. If I go to On 3 and go to Sunbelt, it says they have like 9 guys coming in. Maybe that was 24/7 ranking the Sunbelt. Let me see if we rank the Sunbelt here. Too many tabs. And it's very odd on how they're ranking this because like they're ranking the Cajuns very high because they got Hunter Walker, but that's the only one they've got in so far, I think. All right. Well, transfer portal. All right. It just keeps on moving. All right. Transfer portal, team ranking transfer portals. All right. Sunbelt Conference. All right. 24/7 says Marshall has 9 commits. Okay. So if you click on that, okay. They have Cannon Lewis, a linebacker from NC State. They got Jabril El Amin, a linebacker from Jacksonville State. Cannon Lewis got pretty good size, 6'2", 225. El Amin is 6'3", 215. Tavon Nelson, a cornerback from Maryland or Miami of Ohio. Cornerback, 6'1", 205. Joseph Azun, defensive lineman, 6'1", 295 out of Temple. Jacoby Baldwin, a safety, 6 foot 192. He's also NC State. So Coach Gibson bringing some guys from the Wolfpack with him. Jalen Parker, linebacker, 6'1", 221, going to Marshall. Daryl Sweeting, 5'10", 180 cornerback, going to Marshall. Lul Kenzie Jules, going for name of the transfer portal, 6 foot 180 corner. Looks like he's coming from the FAU Owls. And Michael Allen, running back, 5'11", 210 out of UNLV. So they got some good size. That's one. So they got some guys from NC State. 1, 2, 3. 3 guys from NC State. 2 guys from Temple. 1 guy from Jacksonville State. Let me see where Trayvon Nelson. Oh, and the other one was from, it does look like it's from Maryland. Okay, not Miami, Ohio. Tough to tell. So, I mean, they are moving on. They obviously do need a quarterback. 24/7 does have, I mean, goodness gracious, 32. That's why there will be on Friday's episode in the Losers Category. They have 32 outgoing transfers. 32. Ouch. That's a lot. About a third of those are going to Southern Miss. So Coach Gibson doing what he can to replace some of those guys. does appear most of those guys, except one, is all on the defense. So, I mean, he's got 3 linebackers, 3 corners and a safety, and a running back. Obviously, they're loading up on that without looking exactly what he lost. So Marshall trying to move on. It's tough not to put you on in the L column on Friday when you've lost 32 guys. But not getting 9 guys, and technically that's going to rank atop, that's basically second to Southern Miss. And Southern Miss took all of Marshall's guys in terms of total numbers. Not necessarily points, right? Because I don't know how they figure out the point system. But the Cajuns have 1, and he ranks 86, so they give him 5.24 points. Who knows how that works? Southern Miss has 20 already. Marshall has 9, but here Texas State only has 4 commits, and we're going to get to Texas State because our guy Kev Giardello does a great job for Win Now or Get Bent podcast, which is his own podcast, and he does a great job of covering it locally. And he's got more than that. Are we counting junior college guys as transfers? I guess we have to. That, in my mind, I guess so. Yeah, JUCO college transfer. I guess so. I think that's different. They're just kind of moving up, right? I feel like that's a different type of transfer, but or continuing their education, basically. Compared to someone switching colleges or getting money to go play somewhere else, to me. Right. But we'll find out who's going to play. Right. I'm going to jokingly ask. We don't even ask to ask. We don't have to ask Charles Huff who his starting quarterback is, because we know who that is. Going into spring, it's going to be Braylon Braxton. All right. Having said that, Dwayne Logans from App State, he's going to have to find a quarterback, because I thought that Joy Aguilar's career was done, but he's going into the transfer portal because he played junior college and now he gets another year. So he's going to the transfer portal. He may stick around. We'll see if they can talk him into sticking around. And we'll see who Marshall's quarterback is going to be. Is it going to be somebody who's there, or is it going to be somebody who they have to go get? All right. So obviously, a lot of time to do that. People are committing on Christmas, so that's a little bit insane. All right. That is a little bit crazy, but certainly some nice presents for Golden Eagles fans. All right, let's take a time out. Texas State is really rebuilding. They still got a bowl game. They can win 9 games this year. That didn't really measure up to what they wanted to, but that's pretty good. Back-to-back bowl games after having never been to a bowl game. And they could certainly have really good back-to-back seasons. We will talk about that next, right after I tell you about Game Time. Game Time is focused on togetherness this holiday season. That means when you bring people together at live events, the experience is that much better, and it's the perfect gift. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks. That makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. All in pricing. When you toggle this feature, shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. And then you get to see where you're sitting. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, and you get that lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. And you get that Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked On College, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Dave Schultz, Locked On College, your teams every day. We're going over the portal winners. And again, 24/7 only had 4 listed for Texas State. Kef Giardello, who covers them on a regular basis, has more. First of all, he's got 26. This was, let me see here. He tweeted it out on Christmas Eve day at, can we get a time? Timestamp at noon-ish. So you can go to his Twitter feed. It is Kef_C. I don't know if Temple is the high school or the college. I'm going to go that's a high school. So maybe I'm one short because I think he puts all the colleges at the bottom. So he's got 16 high school kids, including Gavin Parkhurst, quarterback from All Saints. And then he's got a couple of offensive linemen from Jones College. But he's got Nate Yarnell from Pitt as a QB transferring in. He's got Greg Burrell, running back from UNLV. Edge rusher, Iowa State, Kenyard Snyder. He's got a defensive lineman from Cal Poly, Jordan Sanders. Chance Johnson, linebacker from Texas A&M. He's got Terrence Cooks, the second linebacker from TCU, also was at Texas. He's got Wofford cornerback Javis Minant. And he's got long snapper from USF, Trey DeBuck coming in. So that's what? Including the junior college guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6, 9, 10. So that's 10 guys. That's pretty good. Plus the 16 high school kids. Because you need the high school kids to be ready to replace the guys who eventually leave. That's the problem. That's what the Tim Becks of the world are going to end up facing. Is that, and the Cajuns are facing that, and South Alabama is facing that. The problem is that when they, and ULM is facing that, right? Is that when your best players are freshmen and they leave right away. That's the problem, right? Not that they're going pro. That'd be great if they went pro. But ULM's Hardy ended up at Missouri. I guess with all due respect to Missouri, I mean, I hope he got the bag. I thought he was going to do better than that. That could be a me thing. That could be a perception thing. And Fluff ended up at Mississippi State. I would say the same thing about that. I mean, were they the worst Power 4 team in the country? Didn't they win? I think we've been through this. Didn't they win like 2 games this year? Like 2. So, I mean, you really hope that they, they got the money. I mean, obviously Missouri is much better than Mississippi State. Yeah, they won 2 ball games this year, Mississippi State. They're starting at Southern Miss. We know that. I'm going to harp on that all offseason, by the way. They beat Massachusetts and they beat Eastern Kentucky. So I think Massachusetts is FBS. Eastern Kentucky is not. Eastern Kentucky is FCS, I believe. So that's the problem. So I like the idea that the problem is, you gotta have those high school kids ready to go when the transfers eventually move on. And I like that's what GJ Kinne is doing. You gotta, and fill the holes, and I'm sure he's going to fill more. You got to figure he's going to get more than 9 guys. Let's see what 24/7 has 4 guys coming in. He's got 15 going out, including, Ben Bell left. Got a couple guys already going to Indiana. Ishmael Mahdi going to Arizona. All right. Quarterback, which I thought was supposed to, stick around, was RJ Martinez. Alex Harkey, offensive tackle, going to Oregon. and Joshua Eaton, cornerback, going to Michigan State. I mean, some of these guys are going to big-time places, right? It's kind of tough not to say, okay, Max Harris, linebacker, going to Colorado. Maybe. I guess that's not official yet. Or maybe it is. Cole Wilson, wide receiver, going to Baylor. Brendan Franke going to IU. Dominique Ratcliffe going to IU. Mahdi going to Arizona. Harkey, 6'6", 305-pound tackle, going to Oregon. And Joshua Eaton going to Michigan State. Again, you figure they all got money. And we'll see about Arizona. They went in the wrong direction. Arizona State is the better team. And obviously Missouri is pretty good, right? What did Missouri finish this year? Mississippi State was bad. I mean, bad, right? Mississippi State was bad. What did Missouri finish? Missouri finished 5-3, 9-3. I mean, they're pretty good, right? But I thought maybe he could end up at it. Well, I mean, 9-3 is pretty good. 9-3 is pretty good. That's a perception thing for me. So that may be a me thing. But Mississippi State is not very good. And we'll see how long Jeff Levy is there for. But you never know what kids are looking for these days outside of money. They could have just offered him the most money, which no problem. If that's your priorities, it used to be honestly playing time and girls. that was the big thing, right? Outside of the top recruits, it was playing time and the girls. And now it's money and winning. I'm not even sure where if winning ranks. I'm not, I'm not sure where winning is on part of that. Right. So, again, someone's going to have to come in and clean up this mess because the NCAA is not doing it. The former Massachusetts governor is and nowhere to be found. He is doing a bad job. He's not doing any job. He's doing nothing so far. Continues to lose case after case after case. He just doing nothing. But I like what Texas State is doing. They got it. They, again, trying to rebuild and bringing more guys in. But again, they seem to be on a tough road as well. Lost some key pieces there. But that's G.J. Kinne doing a good job of recruiting. And, we'll see if he can keep some guys that are in the portal, see if he can bring some guys back. But that Ishmael Mahdi, that one hurts. That's the guy I actually had for, it's probably my mistake. Well, a defensive player, forget running back. I mean, a defensive player won player of the year. So I don't feel bad for picking a running back. But that was my guy for player of the year in the Sun Belt. And he ends up, I was going to say Pac-12, but I guess he's in the Big 12 now. So interesting. So wishing all those guys good luck. All right. So we will talk about some guy, the teams that are on the other side, the losers. And there are some good teams that are struggling in the portal. And we'll talk about that on a Friday. All right. Some of these teams may be on both lists. Really appreciate all of the support. Again, we are still trying to get the coaches. A couple of people have reached back out to me, and it probably will be after the new year, which is understandable. I just had, and again, this is me, 6 days off around the holidays. I'm not going to do it on New Year's and not going to do it on Christmas because they're not going to do it those days. So I don't want to take away from family time because they don't have a whole lot of family time to begin with. So we will do it when they can do it after the new year. But I fully expect that to happen, or certainly hope it happens. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in. Hopefully you had a Merry Christmas. It's just the beginning of Hanukkah, 8 crazy nights. We will talk to you again on a Friday where we, should be previewing. We'll do winners and losers and probably previewing a bowl game or two. Thanks again for tuning in. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day.